Hello everyone, it's Joe here from Draft FPL. Welcome back to a weekly series helping you find some good value free agents and waiver pickups in Draft FPL. God, it's quick. Game week 14's over. Straight back in. Sunday night, back in with the waiver picks. Waiver deadline is tomorrow, of course, on Monday for the game week deadline that's on Tuesday. So no faffing about. Let's get stuck straight into the picks. This video, as always, is brought to you by Draft FC. You can get a 1 month free trial for the website with my code SnakeDraft. There's a link down below in the description. Make sure you use the code, get a free month, and see if you enjoy the website. It really does help your draft experience. Definitely a very useful tool. First pick this week, defenders. We are looking at Bassi of Fulham. He is currently available in 99% of leagues, and it's funny because initially my thought was, okay, it's a midweek game week, we're going to see lots of rotation, we want to go for like the centre backs, the most nailed picks. We don't want to be picking up a player that's got a good fixture and then they don't even play. That's an absolute disaster. So instinctively my thought was like Tim Ream. Had a look, he's like 70% rostered and Bassi is 1%, which is wild. Now there is a slight bit of danger because Tosin Adarabioyo is back fit again. He was in the matchday squad this weekend. But personally, I think there's actually probably slightly more chance that Tim Ream comes out of the lineup than Bassi. We'll have to wait and see on that, but I think his place is secure for this game week at least. Fulham do actually have really nice fixtures over the next 4. Forest at home, West Ham at home, and Burnley at home. 3 really good home games out of the next 4. Seems like a really good time to pick up one of their defenders. And the fullbacks are definitely more interesting. Robinson, Tete, Castagna. The problem is there's 3 of them, 2 spots. I'm pretty confident that Robinson will play, but with a midweek game week, you just really don't want to risk it, in my opinion. So centre back's the way to go. On that same theme, next up we've got Max Kilman, available in 69% of leagues. Burnley at home, Forest at home, the next 2 absolute home bankers. 2 of the sort of best 5 or 6 fixtures in the league. I think a defensive asset for these 2 is really strong. Kilman and Dawson are the 2 that I would endorse the most, because I just think they are absolutely nailed on. I mean, Semedo also, I'm pretty sure will start, but if he's going to miss any of the games in the next month, it will be one of these 2. So is it worth the risk? Probably not. I don't think his attacking output is so high that I would risk missing out on a start in one of these 2 really good fixtures. Totti's also a decent option as well. He's probably 3rd in the pecking order behind Kilman and Dawson. Ryan Aït-Nouri potentially could be fit for this Burnley game, so if you have him and you didn't drop him after his injury last week, it's probably worth holding on to. If we get any news before the deadline that he's fit, then he's a really good pick for game week 15 as well, I'd say. Next up, Tino Livramento, available in 74% of leagues. If any of you watched the United game at the weekend, you would have seen just how attacking he was. Really exciting player. And I think he's probably just going to play more often than not. I'm not too concerned about the minutes. I think there will be times he misses out for sure. There will be games that Lewis Hall plays at left back. But I think Livramento is just the better player and the better option, and I think it's his place to lose at the moment, so I think he's going to get a decent run of minutes. Everton away this week is not bad, definitely not a bad fixture, and Newcastle are probably just going to be trying to grind out results with all their injury problems at the moment, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a few clean sheets over the next few weeks. Tottenham away next week's tough, but then it's Fulham at home, Luton away in 17 and 18, 2 really good fixtures again, so I think he's actually a really good pick at the moment. On to midfielders then, and the first one is Lo Celso of Spurs. Another one where I feel like I'm disappointed in myself for not going a week earlier. I've kind of had him penciled in the notes ever since Maddison got injured. I felt like he is the natural replacement for Maddison while he's out. At first, I feel like Postecoglou was trying to reward Højbjerg for his strong performances and gave him the start. But I think Lo Celso is the creative force in this team with Maddison gone. So I think he's most likely to keep his place. I don't really see an issue about him starting against West Ham. I think he's very, very, very likely. And I think they're, Spurs are a really attacking team. We've seen that. They're not going to play defensively against anyone, really. So from a defensive point of view, I'd completely stay away. I think they're awful. But in terms of scoring goals and getting fantasy attacking returns, I think there are still good options there. And I think Lo Celso is definitely under the radar. If it wasn't City last week, I would have had him in the picks for game week 14. It was just because they had City away that I didn't put him in there, but I wish I had, because he did pop up with a goal. But I definitely think there's damage for him to be done. He's in a little bit of run up form, he's got a bit of confidence and looks like a decent player. Next up, we've got Mykhailo Mudryk, available in 66% of leagues. It's United away this week. Then from game week 16 onwards, Chelsea have an absolutely ridiculous run of fixtures. It's so strong. It's Everton away, Sheffield United at home, Wolves away are the next three, but it goes on even further than that. Game week 19, they've got Palace at home, then Luton away, then Fulham at home. So from game week 16 to game week 21, it's an absolutely ridiculous run of fixtures. So if you can get on a few of their assets, it's definitely a good time. Mudryk, the minutes aren't assured, but I do think the reason I've picked him this week is I do think he's going to start against United, mainly because Conor Gallagher got sent off this week, so they don't really have too many options. I'd expect to see, three behind the striker of Mudryk, Sterling and Palmer, with Jackson through the middle. I don't really see what else they do, because Enzo could play the number 10, but then who's going to play alongside Caicedo in the midfield? I don't really see that happening. They could switch to a back five, which kind of would make sense because Reece James is back from suspension, but I'm not convinced they'll do that. I think they'll just start Mudryk out wide and put Cole Palmer in the number 10, which means that Mudryk's going to get a start up against a very, very poor United defence, and I think that's exactly the kind of fixture that he could do well in. Next up, we've got Jordan Ayew, available in 67% of leagues. Just a 1 week punt, really. Palace's fixtures are really poor after Bournemouth. It's Liverpool, City, Brighton. 3 fixtures you don't really want to run into. But Bournemouth at home this week is definitely one to target. I feel like there's going to be goals in this game. Palace have lost Doucouré for a long period of time, and he's a very important player to how they set out defensively. So I think their defence is going to get worse over the sort of medium to long term. And Bournemouth have really found a bit of attacking mojo, but they are a bit ropey in defence. So I feel like there's going to be goals in this. And from that, I think Andre Ayew is probably the best option available that is on the free agents at the moment. I've tipped Elise the last couple of weeks, so you all should have picked him up by now anyway. Edouard's going to start up front. He's obviously very highly owned. I think it'll probably be Will Hughes again in the number 10, but I don't really love that play because he's someone that rarely gets many attacking fantasy points. Whereas have I said Andre Ayew a few times? Jordan Ayew, of course, his brother, is someone that does have a bit of a knack when it comes to getting goals and assists. So he is definitely someone I'm interested in picking up this week. Finally then, it wouldn't be a good run of fixtures for Fulham without me tipping Harry Wilson. Available in 98% of leagues, he's really struggled to hold down a starting role in recent weeks, but he did get the start against Liverpool and played really well actually, got a goal, and I think he was probably Fulham's best attacking player. It is hard to know who's going to play behind Raul Jimenez at the moment. There's quite a few different players they've got, and it is really tricky to figure out. They've got Iwobi, Andreas Pereira, Wilson, Willian, Bobby De Cordova-Reid, maybe someone else that I'm forgetting, but there's definitely at least 5 of them for 3 spots. But as I said, I think Harry Wilson's likely to keep his place because he did play very well and he scored. You feel like that's the kind of performance that gets rewarded with another start, which is Forest at home this week for Fulham, so it is a really strong fixture. And if he can kick on, get a bit of confidence from that goal, we know he's got the talent to string a few good performances together. So always someone that's on my radar, just waiting for him to click into gear, and hopefully this is the period in time he has done that. On to forwards then, and just a real last ditch option here, really. Beto, available in 86% of leagues. The fixtures are pretty rough for Everton. Newcastle at home, Chelsea at home, the next two. Then it's Burnley away, which is quite good. Tottenham away after that, which is tough. It's not ideal fixtures. I think they're right near the bottom of the ticker, actually. But Calvert-Lewin did miss game week 14 with a calf injury. Dyche said it wasn't that serious, but I don't see him coming back for the midweek if he was not in the squad altogether, because we've seen Dyche in the past. He's very, very cautious with Dom, and I don't blame him with his injury history. They want to protect him as much as they can. So I'm pretty sure Beto will get the start against Newcastle. If you are really struggling for a forward and you just need a body in there, even if it's just a first bench option, because there will be rotation this week, so if you don't have a playing bench, you might be in trouble. You know, midweek game weeks at this time of year, there's always mass rotation and people are always stung. So if you are holding a terrible third forward and you just don't really care because you never play them, now is the week to change them up, get Beto in, and just stick him on the bench just in case you need him. Another forward, only available in 42% of leagues, but I thought I'd include him because, as I said earlier, the fixtures for Fulham are really good, and it seems like Raul Jimenez has fully nailed down his place in this team. I never really want to say that because he always just seems to get rotated out of the side, but I think he's probably going to start at least 3 of the next 4, which with a fixture run like this is good enough for me. I'd like to see him do well, but he just doesn't seem to have that confidence and that mojo that he had before. But either way, I think he's a pretty good pick. Available in 42% of leagues still, probably better than Beto, but probably less likely. Better than Beto, probably less likely to be available as well. So yeah, just a fixtures play really. The goals haven't been free flowing for him, but hopefully he can find a bit of form. Okay, that wraps up my picks for game week 15. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, check out the Patreon, check out draftfc.co.uk, code SnakeDraft. There's also a link for Fantasy Football Hub in the description if you're interested in that. That's all from me. I'll see you in about 3 days' time for the game week 16 picks. Fixtures coming thick and fast. We'd love to see it. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.